Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
The woman WHO shouldn't be there. Why the hell didn't I listen to my editor at the Kent University magazine? If I had only been intelligent enough to listen to her, and not a crazy extra credit-grabbing idiot, then maybe, just maybe, I would still be alive to finish my journalism degree. Then find a loving boyfriend, have a family, and just enjoy my degree. That was never going to happen now, and all because I was an idiot who wanted to know why a woman was where she shouldn't be. You see, my name is George Olivier, and I flat out love writing, journalism, and working at the university magazine. I normally cover fun stories like the love letters section, the political columns, and even a few weird stories. It was actually how I came to discover Hell's Place, a very strange former council estate about halfway between Kent University and the city of Canterbury. It was a nice enough estate with rows upon rows of dirty white houses with narrow pothole-infested roads, long lustrous green grass that blew in the soft refreshing breeze, and you could always hear the bells of Canterbury Cathedral ring out. It was actually a rather nice place to visit, especially because everyone, even more so for the university students there, were so friendly, helpful, and they really wanted to talk to me as a journalist and fellow student. Yet there was a problem with Hell's Place. The more and more I dug into its history and crime rates and online social media posts, the more I discovered that Hell's Place was not normal. Even worse, everyone who had ever posted something bad about Hell's Place was either dead, missing, or had suffered a traumatic brain injury so they couldn't speak or write anymore. It was almost like, dare I say it, that Hell's Place was trying to stop the truth coming out. What I found even stranger was that everyone who lived in Hell's Place only fell into three categories. University students who were so desperate for a place to live they were willing to risk death, disappearing, and strangeness just so they could complete their degree. Very low-income families that again were there largely for the same reason as the university students. They didn't want to be in Hell's Place, but they just wanted a house to raise their families in. Thankfully, not a lot happened to these people. The final categories were elderly people who were simply too old, too poor, and/or too set in their ways to escape Hell's Place. Yet one woman, and Olivia Backshaw, did not fit into any of these categories. She was the woman who shouldn't be there in Hell's Place. From everything I had managed to find out about her, her life and her career, she was a successful businesswoman who owned 20 major international import-export businesses. She was well-liked, and she had major sway in the local council where she lived. Then she sold everything and came to live in Hell's Place. The woman could have bought a mansion in London. Hell, she could probably afford all of London, and she had more money than most small nations. Yet she chose to live in Hell's Place, so I brought the story to my editor and she begged me to leave. I said I would, but I wanted to be a journalist, and that meant I needed to follow the story where it led me. I seriously should have just stopped and got back to reading submissions for the love letters column from my normal regular writers. I shouldn't have followed her. Every single day for the next 2 weeks, I camped on her street in my little black Ford Fiesta. I had to admit that the smooth black fabric seats of my car were not comfortable. The padding was all gone and pushed into the wrong places, so every day when I went to shower back at mine, my back was sore, ached, and pain pulsed through me. My car stunk of fried chicken, cucumber, and hummus because after 3 days of fried chicken and greasy fingers, I realized I needed to be careful. Just because this was Hell's Place didn't mean I needed to die here. And eating unhealthy food seemed like a bad way to go in this strange place. Olivia's street wasn't all bad. It was rather nice, actually, with the 20 other dirty white terrace houses that lined each side of the wide open street. Red, white, and black cars of various sizes and makes were all parked outside, as the street gently sloped upwards and bent round to the left. I had already scouted out the neighbors, and no one was going to be a threat. This was Hell's Place, so if anyone spotted me, I suppose they weren't going to attack me, call the cops or anything. I was safe here watching the target of my story. I had already sneaked round the back and planted a few cameras to make sure she didn't escape out the back, and I could watch her 24 hours a day until I had worked out why she was here. Olivia actually led a very simple life that was the same every single day, until one day it wasn't. Every day without fail she would wake up at 7 a.m., go on a 2-hour run that always followed the same route, then she would shower and have breakfast. No one else in Hell's Place did something that normal. After her breakfast she would do 2 hours of betting, donate the income to charity. She always won at least £3,000 according to her social media, and then she spent the rest of the afternoon watching soaps on the TV. And the occasional action-adventure film on a streaming service. Again, no one else in this estate did something that normal in the afternoon. Normally, some people were arguing, going to university, or killing and burying bodies. True story, that one. So this damn woman only made me even more curious about her, because there was another thing about her that says she should have lived in Hell's Place. Even her evening and nightly routines were the same. At 5 p.m. she spent an hour cooking dinner, she watched a crime drama for 3 hours, and then she went upstairs to read for an hour before bed. That was her life every single day without fail. Tonight she had cooked herself a delicious-looking tomato pasta dish with creamy cheese, succulent cubes of meat that I couldn't identify, and she had loved the dish. She had even sprinkled some mint leaves over the top. The woman could seriously cook amazingly every single day, without fail. Until it all changed one day. On the last day of my life, I had just woken up at 6:55 a.m., expecting to see Olivia in a few minutes come out for her run. It was a great day for a run, with it being a wonderfully clear blue sky. The early morning sun was shining bright and carried a hell of a lot of warmth already, and there was no one about. My car still stunk of fried chicken, sweet corn, and lightly fried grilled cheese sandwiches that I had brought myself last night and still not eaten, sadly. Yet I saw Olivia driving off in her massive black pickup truck, and she was smiling. It was a strange smile, like she knew something I didn't, and this was beyond weird for her. I checked the hidden cameras, I checked everything I had on her, and weirdly enough, she had not been on her run this morning. It was strange, so I followed her. Of course, the smartest thing to do when you're getting to work out things about a strange woman in an even stranger place where people die, go missing, and get buried is to follow said strange woman without telling anyone. Well, that is exactly what I did. I had never tailed anyone before in my life, so I had no idea how well I had managed to hide from Olivia over the next hour. As she drove down motorways at 70 miles per hour, she zoomed round roundabouts, and then she stopped. She stopped right outside a storage unit place, and I followed her inside. I passed hundreds upon hundreds of bright blood-red storage units that looked to be the size of most master bedrooms. I nodded to a few people inspecting their units, and they smiled back. There was a very cute young man with his mum in blue jeans, a red dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and tennis shoes. He smiled at me, and I could tell he was interested, and maybe if I wasn't chasing Olivia and about to die, I would have spoken to him. In hindsight, I seriously should have stopped, spoken to him, and just grabbed a coffee. I would have lost my story, but I would have been fine. I followed Olivia down a very dark corridor, filled with 20 or 30 rusty brown storage units. All the padlocks were rusted shut, long cobwebs littered the ceiling, and 2 rats zoomed between holes in the concrete walls. Olivia had the perfectly clean door to her unit wide open, and it was covered in plastic blue curtains that stopped me from seeing what was inside. "I want to show you something, my dear stalker," Olivia said. "I know you want to understand me and why I live in Hell's Place. Come inside and see the wonder of my work." I should have run. I should have screamed for help. I should have listened to my gut. Ultimately, I should have done a lot of things differently. I went over to her voice, went through the icy cold plastic curtains, and I didn't even jump when the metal door slid down and popped as the lock fell into place. I always knew this was going to happen. And Olivia deserved to live in hell's place. All around me there were perfectly sterile metal shelves filled with human tongues, cheeks, and eyeballs on ice. It was disgusting, awful, and the entire storage unit stunk of death. Olivia was standing with a small handsaw and carving knife by a large metal slab like the ones used for autopsies, and she was grinning. Her long white apron was stained blood red and her grin was demonic. She was carving up a small man, maybe 20 years old at most and probably a student just like me. "This is why you live in hell's place," I said, "because you eat people. That pasta dish you saw last night was delicious. I didn't know virgin male flesh tasted so nice." My entire body tensed as Olivia came over to me, kissed me once, biting my lip, and then she rammed her carving knife into my throat. "I cannot harm the vital organs. Lose too much flavor," she said. I stumbled backwards, then collapsed to the ground as my warm blood poured down my chest, and I just looked at her in utter horror. The strong, overwhelming taste of iron formed on my tongue, and the sound of her demonic laughter echoed inside my head. No one would ever find me, no one would ever know what had happened to me, and now I finally knew, truly knew why Hell's Place was called its name. It was hell on earth, and everyone who lived there was just as strange, twisted, and a living nightmare as everyone else. Little did George realize that Hell's Place always chose its victims and residents carefully, even he was picked for the fun of it. Hell's Place wanted to see what would happen if a journalist found someone who shouldn't be there, and Hell's Place couldn't stop laughing. Olivia was perfect, and now the estate wondered what other fun people it could give Olivia to play with. Or perhaps even more fun, who might be able to stop Olivia? Now that was a fun idea, and just another day in Hell's Place.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.